Whoa, Dad. No, I'm doing something in here.
How do you take a worn-down concept and revive it? The werewolf monster was done to oblivion so many different ways, so many different directions over the years, but by the time the 80s rolled around, it kind of got perfected. So the only option is to spice it up and take a normal teenager and ramp up his angst so much that he would hulk out and become his inner wolf. But is the movie any good? Let's find out. I'm Meffistoe. Like, share, and subscribe because this is my review of the movie Teen Wolf.
Give me a keg of beer.
Before becoming a staple in the comic book space, Jeff Loeb wrote a script together with Matt Wiseman called Teen Wolf, which was picked up by an independent company called Atlantic Entertainment, and they attached the director Rod Daniel to the project. Back then, the hottest young teen star was Michael J. Fox, who was hired solely because there was a delay in shooting the sitcom Family Ties, which was tied into the lead mom on the show, Meredith Baxter, getting pregnant. So, in a short window of time between October and November of 1984, they shot the movie Teen Wolf.
You're beautiful.
The premise of the movie tells the story of Scott Howard, a 17-year-old senior in high school, whose only claim to fame is playing on the failed basketball team.
I'm going through changes.
Oh, don't worry about that. We all go through that.
Scott desperately wants to date Pamela, the hottest girl in school, but of course she's already dating Mick, who plays for a rival high school team.
Forget it, dork.
Scott completely ignores the fact that his longtime friend, Boof, is kinda into him. But because they've been friends for so long, Scott doesn't see it quite the way Boof does.
You can come a little closer. Promise I won't bite.
During one game, Scott gets pushed to the brim and suddenly his inner werewolf pops out, surprising himself and everyone around him. But it seems like Scott's transformation only helps him to become a better basketball player and to lead his failed team to victory after victory, until his antics boil over and the wolf becomes something else. As a coming-of-age story, I think that the inclusion of the wolf inside the boy is a great little move. Growing up as a boy, transforming into a man, you feel that rage and the hormones kicking in, and sometimes you do feel like a wolf. So a physical manifestation of this wolf was actually a stroke of genius.
But let me remind you that I am still the vice principal.
Hey, I'm no different than anyone else.
As for the execution, it was left to be desired. The movie was made in a rush, both to satisfy the showrunner of Family Ties, Gary Goldberg, because he let his prized possession, Michael J. Fox, work on another project, and the fact that the budget was really, really small. I mean, there are some movies today that are independent and work with far bigger budgets. But oddly enough, it was shot in locations that were later used in Back to the Future that started filming about a month and a half after Teen Wolf was wrapped.
Wolf!
Thomas Wolfe.
As for the acting, well, there's a big issue here. The only big names in the cast, apart from Fox himself, of course, were Jim McCrell, who played the vice principal of the school and serves as a thorn in Scott's side as soon as Scott reveals his wolfish nature.
You don't know how long I have waited to get you right where I have you.
And James Hampton, who plays Scott's father, who's also his mentor, guiding him through this transformation.
Yeah, I saw. Unless that was another werewolf doing a handstand on top of Styles' Wolfmobile and making a fool of himself.
But of course, the main highlight was Michael J. Fox. Much like his entire career, Fox, with a comedic timing combined with his physical comedy, works well as an unconfident teenager who becomes this confident wolf that everybody looks up to and essentially becomes the coolest kid in school. Add to that his natural baby face and the fact that he's a household name at this point because of that TV show, and you've got yourself a winner, because Michael is talented enough to carry your entire movie.
No wolf. No wolf. No part.
I always thought it was a great fit. Much like in real life, I've seen Fox first on Back to the Future and then on Teen Wolf, even though I've seen both movies on VHS. Because as I said earlier, Teen Wolf was shot first, but the distributors pushed the release back in order to make room for Back to the Future, and it paid off big time. Teen Wolf was released 1 month after Back to the Future and raked in on the star power and the popularity surge of Michael J. Fox, who apparently hated every second of working on Teen Wolf.
You're right. Okay, let's go. Wait a minute.
These waves are mine.
It paid off so big, the movie raked in $80 million on a $4 million budget, spawning a sequel that did, well, it bombed. As for recommendations, this one is a tough one. As a standalone movie without considering anything, the movie isn't that great. And this is me after watching it countless times. There are plenty of plot holes along the way, along with great scenes and great writing. Some of the basketball scenes were reused footage, meaning they used different sequences, but reused same shots and same takes, and took bits and pieces, compiling them into just one long sequence. As of the times, they put a song to it and made it a montage to help disguise this whole thing. In terms of the story, it is pretty basic, with the major theme being the wolf part was a big ego booster, but also how that can actually go to your head and destroy the stuff that you care about. If you're not careful, of course.
As good as being in the championship if none of us get to play.
It doesn't matter how you play the game, it's whether you win or lose.
Is it worth a watch? I think so. Michael J. Fox carries this movie on his back even more than he does on Back to the Future, and he does a fantastic job. It's a fun-filled teen comedy that the wolf is just a representation of something else, but it sure does help to sell the movie. I enjoyed it when I watched it for the first time and for the 10th time as well, and I do feel it is worth your time, but don't expect too much of it.
I've got to be the wolf. I mean, that's what everyone expects.
Is that what you want?
Everybody likes the wolf.
I thank you for watching, and remember, hope is a good thing, maybe even the best of things, and no good thing ever dies. I'll see you on the next video.